Hey, Arvid. Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Not-E3.
Oh, I just realized I can't clap because I'm holding it. I clap my cheek.
Yeah,
All right.
okay, just slap your face.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1.
You know, you could have just snapped your finger in front of the mic.
Oh yeah, I could have. Also, that's a little. You're back from having COVID.
I have risen. I have risen. Praise me. Praise me. Whew. Man. All right. Got to get those energy levels back up for recording.
No time for being sick on the podcast about video games.
No time for being sick in general. It is summer. Things are busy. How you been?
Well, I was doing great until day before yesterday. My my main drive upon which Windows and etc. is installed failed, despite it being only 2-year-old drive. And then I spent all day panicking and testing different drives and testing cords and everything inside my computer, and then eventually finding the backup image and all that jazz. And just a hectic day and a half of computer crap. But other than that, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. That's really scary stuff. I don't know. I don't have a lot of important stuff on my computer that couldn't just be recovered from a cloud, but still, that's what a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I'm very glad because I set up one of my hard drives to constantly back up my C drive way back when I still had Windows 7 because I was worried about these newfangled SSDs. And I forgot to turn that off, which turned out to be just an absolute lifesaver because I switched out my old SSD, which is 9 years old now. It was working just fine, but my newest one, which is only 2 or 3 years old, died. Both Samsungs, so I don't know. Like they're both quality SSDs as far as people are concerned, or generally speaking. Maybe just the old ones were. I don't know. Anyway, what did you get up to while you were incapacitated, Mike?
Oh, just laid around and played a lot of games.
Oh, good. We're not going to talk about any of that today.
No, we're not talking about video games.
This podcast is about advertising. Well, sort of, kind of. It's about the Not-E3 this week. We're talking about the 3 dozen things that were announced per day for the last month or so.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is our Not-E3 episode of the year. Welcome to the Save State, a podcast where we talk about advertisements for video games. I'm Arvid.
I am Mike.
Yeah. Sorry to cut the intro horseshit short, but I've got a lot of notes for stuff, and I want to make sure we get to a lot of stuff before.
Thank God you've got a lot of notes. I have lists, and I have things that I have seen over the last couple weeks while I wasn't coughing blood. So let's get into it.
All right. Okay. So the first thing I noticed, before the E3 spiel started in earnest, was that the Night Dive Studios, the studio behind a lot of remasters lately, have announced that they are remastering the Thing game from the early 2000s. Again, we were actually talking about doing on the podcast.
Yep. One of my favorites from childhood.
Yeah, I mean, to me, that I never played it. I mean, I've seen the movie, obviously, but to me, it was just kind of like that was a movie adaptation video game. I never really gave it a second thought, but I think it's interesting that they're going back and remastering that and not, I don't know how much clout the Thing has these days.
Like, I think it's gonna see a little bit of a comeback because how popular Among Us and these other types of games have been.
Yeah.
I could see.
Which just turned 6 years old today, by the way.
I am I am dust. I am just bones and dust at this point. God damn, where does the time go? No, that was the beauty of the original game, was that the paranoia really did start getting to you, because you always kept an eye on your squad, and something would happen during the fight and you'd realize, like, oh, hey, this guy like disappeared for a moment and now they're back, and then you just start keeping an eye on them and you think it's them. You're pretty sure it's them, and they're like, hey, can you come over here and give me some ammo? And it's like, oh, they're going to try to kill me when I do that. And then, yeah, you start getting closer and you start testing that little boundary. And then the other squad team member behind you is the thing, and they're the one that gets you. And that guy just needed ammo, and he probably could have helped you. It was the first time I'd ever played a game like that got kind of psychological without being I guess it's a psychological horror in a way, but it's not a traditional horror like a Resident Evil or Silent Hill. It felt a lot more like a SOCOM that had horror elements to it. And I'm excited to see what they're going to do with that kind of premise now that we've gotten all of these, like, who done it, who's the imposter kind of games into the zeitgeist.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, Night Dive has mostly done games that kind of stick to the original script. Like, I don't think they've done too much to change gameplay patterns by any means, but it could certainly affect, like, the audience for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I hope they play around with it. It was good, but it doesn't need to just be remade. Its formula needs to be tweaked for the modern era a little bit more.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So I figure what we'll do is we'll kind of try and trade off things we want to talk about, and I don't think we need to, like, necessarily maintain an order of, like, alpha, like, just keep it random order. Keep it free and loose goosey. I don't want to, like, make it too tight and orderly. So, what do you want to bring up? You got anything you want to mention?
Secret? Let's talk about Secret for a minute.
Okay.
This is Monster Hunter Wilds chocobo-like mount that you can ride in the new game coming up, and you can fight on it and everything. I am so excited for Monster Hunter Wilds. It looks so cool. I love the Monster Hunter series, and they've had mounts in the game, like in other games. Rise famously had, like, the dog mount companion that would fight alongside of you as well. But these things just look so fun. You can get a lot more height on them. There's a lot more jumping that is part of the formula now. And I'm really interested to try to pull off some more mounted combat in these games, because that's one of the biggest issues is always placement in a Monster Hunter game. And everything, even the fast weapon people, tend to be so sluggish and slow that you really need to predict that enemy's movements way ahead of time to get yourself onto a spot of success for your attacks. I think these mounts are going to make things a lot more fast-paced, a lot more dynamic. I don't know if that means it's still going to be a traditional Monster Hunter game when it comes to the combat, but I'm okay with there being a shake-up to it.
Yeah, I mean, I've never clicked with Monster Hunter games personally. I feel like it's all the bits. It takes all the bits that I like less out of games. So it's just like the boss fights and the buying potions and not the exploring and talking to people.
Yeah, it's just all boss fights all the time. I love it.
But no, I wish I liked Monster Hunter more. It's one of those games I should probably give it another try at some point.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe with Wilds. Maybe we'll all get into it.
Certainly, was it the last one or the one before the last was?
So there was Monster Hunter World that had the Iceborne expansion as well. Was that? Yeah, I think World had the Iceborne expansion. And then there was Monster Hunter Rise, which started on the Switch and then came out on Xbox and a couple other places. And that one I really enjoyed.
I think World I played a bit of. I don't think I played the Rise. But yeah, I thought that I don't know. We'll see. I might like it. I don't know. There's so much, like, that's the other thing. That's the other thing. I noticed this when I went back briefly to our last year's E3. of the games we talked about on that thing, I think I ended up playing like 10% of them. you know,
Yeah.
and maybe half of them we ended up having to do for the podcast. So it's I'll be interested to see how many of these I'll end up actually playing. The one that kind of stuck out to me was just to kind of keep it into the JRPG area, general vicinity. Was Metaphor: REFANTAZIO, which is a name of a game. So it's made by Atlas. It has a lot of Persona-y vibes and Shin Megami Tensei vibes without being either. It's a new IP completely. Can you believe it? It looks really interesting. It's got all the stylistic markers I like. Maybe just a dash. Everything seems too anime for me until I actually start playing the game, and then I don't have as much of a problem with it. But I don't know. I'm looking forward to it. It's got they showed off a ton of gameplay footage, like from going from 0 to a lot. Like just there wasn't like the usual like teaser trailer and then gameplay trailer. There was quite a bit of gameplay just from what we saw, and I don't know. It looks like a lot of fun.
Yeah, I really want to see more information about the job system for it as well. Like, I love a good job system in a JRPG, and it seems to have a lot of options when it comes to that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what I kind of will hope it is that it can kind of eat Final Fantasy's lunch now that Final Fantasy has given up on trying to be Final Fantasy. Like it's maybe just going to go ahead and be like, well, if you're not going to make a decent modern Final Fantasy, we'll just do that. Not that the Final Fantasy hasn't made decent. Not that the Final Fantasy games of late haven't been decent. Just that they don't really fall into Final Fantasy categories as far as I would.
It's that weird question of like, what part of the game makes it that game franchise, right? Like, what aspect of it? Is it just the general aesthetic? Is it the world building? Is it the combat mechanics? Is it a little bit of everything, which is kind of where I tend to go more, is like, well, I'm still seeing chocobos, right? But I'm not doing like an active time battle selection anymore, or it's kind of been obfuscated through this action combat system that they've set up, which I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of. I've restarted FF16 to try to enjoy it this time and actually finish it. We'll see what happens. I don't know. I'm not sold on this new direction they're taking their combat. So yeah, I'm really excited to try something that goes back to the old formula.
Yeah, like I think that's Final Fantasy's problem now is like they're just chasing trends as opposed to like sticking to like Dragon Quest has been sticking to their guns this whole time and they haven't had a problem. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Final Fantasy probably still outsides Dragon Quest. I don't know, at least in the West. But I'm more satisfied with the Dragon Quest games lately than Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
So what do you got next, Mark?
Do you want to talk about Sid Meier's new thing? This brand new IP. We've never seen a game like this before. It's the Seventh Civilization game.
Yeah, which we know nothing. It exists.
We know it exists, and it's a Sid Meier's Civ game, so we know exactly what it is.
Yeah, I mean this has been rumored to be in the works for like a year, and like I don't know. Least surprising thing, I guess, about this E3 or not E3, I was just like, okay, yeah, there'll be a Civ game, a Civ 7. I mean, I look forward to it. I've loved every Civ game, so that's not.
No, and I'm not trying to like shit on it. I'm going to play it. And I'm probably going to pick it up for like the Switch when it comes out on there as well. And I'll probably pick up the mobile version when that gets made and is way more clunky than the original, which is already going to be plenty clunky. I enjoy them. I liked Humankind. I liked Civ 6. Civ 5 was fine. I hope they just keep trying to improve the system and not just like updating it to the more modern engine and styles.
Well, what I think is interesting that you mentioned, because like Civ 6, I think took a lot from like the Endless Legend series and game and kind of like took some elements. I wouldn't say they took a lot, but they took some elements of it and tweaked it and kind of made it their own. And they've always kind of done that, like found other like games that iterated on Civ and then maybe borrowed some things and merged it into the main Civ game. And I'm wondering what Humankind has done for Civ 7 and other games like Old World. Like you have all these different Civ likes right now. Mm-hmm. What elements from those games are going to end up in this? Are they going to do like Humankind's like just cover the world in crap tiles, or like Old World kind of focusing on these RP elements a lot more? Or maybe they don't do any of that. Maybe they just go back to basics. I don't know.
Maybe we get a lot more of a granular view of the actual cities you're building. Maybe there is a like walk around and actually like hang out in them kind of thing. We've been seeing that happen.
I miss the old palace mode.
Yeah,
back in Civ 2.
I don't know. I want to see them do something fresh. I'd like to see more victory conditions. Try to get unique and creative with it. I don't know what else they could expand into.
They already have a ton of victory conditions.
I want more.
Like, okay.
I'm a greedy little piggy, and I want my victory condition options.
I mean, there's like 7 of them already.
Yeah, that's a good start. Let's think outside the box.
Yeah, fair enough. This isn't actually a new game. This is just news I saw. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League.
Did it win all the awards?
Well, it might have won some awards, but it lost something more important. It's estimated to have lost $200 million for Warner Brothers, just in not recouped development costs. So yeah, that's I mean, with that much money in the hole, you have to imagine they're going to have to. That's going to be one of those like Fallout 76. We need to find some way to save this kind of a thing. But then again, like that Marvel game that Square Enix crapped out, they gave up on eventually. So I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which was really disappointing. I think I was one of the few people that actually liked Marvel Avengers. The end game, like all end game, just became recycled, reskinned boss fights with the same mechanics over and over and over. I don't know. I don't think these studios understand that like not everything has to be a live service game.
Well, I think also like they see a license and they assume that like they don't have to put effort into it.
Yeah, it'll
they can
make
just
itself.
kind of advertise their way out of it.
Yeah,
and I mean that's not like I don't know. Like I have on this podcast several times defended things like the Guardians of the Galaxy game and Midnight Suns as being really good adaptations. And God knows like the Arkham games are great comic book adaptations. So it's not like you can't license superhero crap and turn it into good games. But maybe like the one thing that all those have in common is that they're not microtransaction riddled live service experiences where you have to deal with other people also trying to get their superhero on. Just saying. Yeah, that's all I had to say about that. I just feel like it's another chapter in Warner Brothers always making the worst decisions.
Yeah, I did mean to mention real quick while we were still talking about the Civilization games. Think it will still be on by the time this episode is released, but there is a massive sale on Steam right now for the Civilization franchise. I think you can get all the DLC and the whole thing for like about $20 right now. Like it is all steeply discounted. The base game itself is like $3. So have at it if for some reason you are interested in Civ and haven't bought it yet. Like the latest one that's been out for 8 years.
I know.
Oh God.
I mean, to me, Civ 5 is still the new one. So
Well, yeah, fair. I don't know.
I remember buying it and being like, I have to make an account on this thing called Steam to install this? I just bought this at Target. What do you mean I have to make an account?
We're old.
Yeah, I know.
Anywho, not really like an announced, like it's not a new game, but it was announced that it's come back to Steam. A game I really enjoyed, Dark and Darker, has come back. You had to jump through some hoops to like torrent it originally, but from the developers, because they were like, yeah, this is the only way we're going to get it while we're wrapped up in this lawsuit. And things look like they've cleared up I don't think the lawsuit itself is actually over, but it looks like the injunction that kind of had been laid out has been lifted from Steam. Looks like they've got a lot better standing for their case that this is their game and not just being cribbed from another studio. I don't know. We'll see. I'm excited because I have friends that I really enjoyed playing this with that did not want to torrent it to get it back on their computer, and I don't blame them. But
No.
yeah, that's opening you up to a lot of possible issues. So yeah, Dark and Dark are just such a fun. I like these extraction games, but there's something a lot more like personal about Dark and Darker. It does the best part of like a Fortnite where you have these constantly closing concentric rings coming in, forcing everyone more and more towards each other. There's a finite amount of escape portals. There's escape portals that just take you out of the match. There's escape portals that take you into a deeper level where things are going to get that much harder. And the claustrophobia of all the tight corridors and all the like echoing sounds from everything. I don't know. It's a lot more fun when you encounter a group of people that like from the other side and you don't know like, are we going to be cool, walk through this, or are we going to fight? I think it does the formula a lot better, and it shows it doesn't have to be a shooter for it to be a good extraction game either. While there is like bow stuff in this too, it's a lot more in your face.
Yeah.
Really fun.
You got Dark Souls in my extraction shooter.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, don't get me started on that. Shadows of the Erdtree's coming out in like 5 days. No, 4 days now,
yeah.
as of time of record. So I am very excited for that.
Speaking of dark things,
Yeah.
we saw. I don't think there was any gameplay. It was just a cinematic trailer, but Perfect Dark reboot exists as like more than just a rumor.
It's wild that that's happening right now. But
I have to say though, like I was vibing to it. I mean, to be honest, it kind of made me think more of like DSX than Perfect Dark. I was thinking like this might be the stealth DSX game that we're never gonna get because Embracer crap themselves.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's just a cinematic trailer. Pretty much, essentially, they can put out as many cinematic trailers as they want. Doesn't mean they're actually gonna make anything.
It's proof of concept, which cool, neat. I like it. It looks pretty. I'm excited. I loved the Perfect Dark series.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. What I'm really curious about is, are they going to let it just exist as a standalone single player experience, or are they going to try to recapture the lightning in the bottle of like the GoldenEye multiplayer shooter experience? And can it stay what it was, or is it going to have to adapt to like what multiplayer shooters have become these days?
The thing is, I think they're just using the setting. Like, I don't think this is in any way a remake. I think it's like literally we're gonna take the character, we're gonna take the setting, and Microsoft is gonna get their own little DSX cyberpunk adventure game. That
I'm
they can
excited.
make.
I'm very excited.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the studio will probably get closed as soon as they finish the game because Microsoft needs to.
Well, because they'll just
costs.
spend so much money. Like, you spent all our money. We're not going to keep you around, even though it's going to make it all back, but whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What you got, Mike?
You want to talk Kingdom Come 2? You want to talk Kingdom Come with guns?
I mean, I didn't really. I just kind of like, oh, that's a thing. I didn't really look into this.
It's
what else is there?
There's guns now. They're taking it a little bit further into the future here. I didn't get an exact date and time, but it's still going to be the idea of like, you are just another person living within this world, dealing with like the powers that be are so much higher above you that you're just trying to find a way to like make it work for
Kill
you,
people with
exist, and kill people with a gun. Yeah. And it's probably going to be very clunky where it's like, so to aim your gun, you'd think you just use your mouse, but actually it's going to be pressing these specific keys while your guy sways clumsily around. And
yeah, reminds me of the Mountain Blade fire and sword experience of trying to use a gun on a horse.
Right.
That was a good time.
I don't know. I don't want to shit on it because The first one I was very interested in until it actually came out and I got my hands on it. I still think they've got an interesting idea. They just need to clean up that combat system. And if it has more to do, I don't know. I want more downtime activities. I want more like life sim to it. I think that would make it actually something I'd be excited about.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that working out pretty well. Speaking of life sims, we saw like almost nothing from any of the upcoming life sim stuff or The Sims 5. Like, just no word on that, any of those at all in this past few weeks here.
Mm-hmm.
Although there was a sim game that I was pretty interested in. It's called. I'm not a football guy or like I'm not a soccer guy. But there's a game that they announced called Copa City, which is not a football management game, nor is it like a football team management game. It's a football arena management game where you have to like run the arena, make sure you have like vendors and like arena schedules are opened up so you can like make sure you have time for like concerts and stuff. Like, you have to worry about traffic and access to the arena and all kinds of crap.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there's still licensing like official clubs and stuff, so like it's still gonna be like, obviously they're spending some money on this, but I think that sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, I've thought frequently about like the logistics of having to run a big sporting arena must be pretty intense, but this is not something I've noticed explored in video games before. So I don't know. I just thought that would look like a fun game.
Yeah. No, I love those little sim games that you can play around with different, I don't know, business formulas. That's always fun.
Yeah.
Always
just see
fun.
that a lot more. There was like sim, like, Pizza Tycoon or like Hotel Sim or whatever. Like, there's a lot more of that back in the day.
Game Dev Tycoon, I think, was still one of my favorites of those.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So I got really excited for the Dune Awakening survival craft MMO.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Looks great. Did get a little disappointed when I saw it was the people behind Conan Exiles, and I just started thinking about the giant god dongs and Wheel of Pain, and I was like, this, I don't know. Let's see what they can do with this. I was probably one of the first adopters of Conan Exiles, and probably one of the first to exit Conan Exiles.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, Funcom also made that really weird occult MMO game. What was that called?
The Secret World?
Was it Hidden Worlds?
The Secret World, which
know?
became Secret World Legends. Very fun, because it was the closest I'll ever get to a World of Darkness MMO, probably, ever.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. Now that now that Embracer has died, the death it has. No, I am I am interested in that as well. Although at the same time, like, I can only handle so many survival crafting games. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to juggle all these. Like, there's this new one that just came out, Soul Mask. I mean, it's still in early access, but like, that looks way cool. But there's so many way cool like survival crafting games right now. I just can't.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a prediction. I don't know the actual setup of what your character is doing on Arrakis, but I have a feeling you're going to be in an ornithopter. It's going to crash during a sandstorm. You're going to make your way to a siege, and then you're going to figure out how to fight for the life water of like the fallen combatant, and then they're going to be like, now go gather 10 sticks, 3 stones, a Chris knife, and build your first thumper. Like, I don't know. I'm really curious to see what this is going to be about. Like, how are they going to gamify Dune?
Well, I mean, they've gamified it. I mean, obviously, Dune led to the first RTS.
Sure.
So
no,
like
and that makes sense for the Dune series because it's like a military historical fantasy novel series. Like, at its core.
I mean, the thing was, like, in the one adventure game, you had like this whole like spice mining management game where you're like assigning troops. Like, I could see it totally just end up being like Factorio, but also you have to defend it from things, or like Factorio or one of those things, but it's all just spice.
That would be really
spice
interesting.
off world.
That would be really interesting. Do you think they're going to let you attach a bunch of baby Shai-Haluds to yourself and become the God Emperor? Just become a giant worm man with a head and arms and probably not genitalia? I don't know. They're always
they're not going to
ambiguous
make
about
sequels to those Dune movies, are they? They're going to just
God,
stop
I
right
really
there.
hope they go all the way. I really want to see that.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Timothy Chalamet. Your contract says you have to be a giant worm man for 3 more
Technically,
movies.
that's his son, Leto, too. So we could get like Hugh Grant seems to really hate doing just CGI heads
Movies
of
that are
things.
good?
Movies that are good and just be the CGI head of a thing. So he could be Leto too.
Yeah, that's true. Ron Perlman, he's always down.
Ron
for those sorts of
Perlman,
things.
actually, yeah. I think he's already getting there himself. I think he's got a couple Shai-Haluds slapped to his body already.
Actually, there was a bit of a life sim game I forgot to mention.
Oh.
I don't know much about this game at all, other than it's being worked on by one of the devs from Dwarf Fortress in his off time when he's not maintaining that legendary game. It's called Streets of Fortuna, and it seems to be like an RPG life sim thing set in like a Roman city, or at least like a Iron Age classical era city, where like it seems to focus more on like life sim aspects, but at the same time there's no violence in the trailer at all. It was just like the one naughty thing you could do was like steal stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't think it's gonna have like a big family sim. I'm just really interested to see what you do. Like, do you just walk around all day and like try and make enough money to buy like dates or dorm mice or whatever it is Romans ate, and then I don't know. Like, I'm interested to see what that looks like. Is it like, do you like build up your like can you become like a senator or whatever, or are you just gonna?
I mean, I know you can be a priest. Like that was one of the things they said. It's like, if you want to go into the clergy, basically, go for it. So I don't know. It would be really interesting if you could can you get into the Senate? I don't know.
But that was also a game that we just saw a cinematic trailer of. Other than that, it was mostly just copy. But that is something I like, because I'm fascinated by it because I don't quite know what it is yet. But good pedigree, certainly. And if you permit me to do a back-to-back, there was another game with a very similar. Oh, thank you. A similar vibe. Anno. The next Anno game was announced. Anno 117, which will be set during the Roman period. Also just a cinematic trailer. But actually probably my favorite cinematic trailer of the E3. I won't spoil it if you want to go and look up I thought it was really funny. They certainly managed to do humor better than the Fable cinematic trailer did, in my opinion. But
yeah.
Do you want to talk about that?
We can.
Did you have any thoughts? I thought it was fine. We started to see a little bit of like actual gameplay in this trailer as opposed to last year where we saw none. And I have to say, and I know I am, the Senator McCarthy to Souls-like games. Like McCarthy is to communism as I am to Souls-like games. But I kind of got like some Souls-likey like camera angles and stuff from the combat. Over the shoulder, kind of close up, very claustrophobic. I don't know.
I'm excited for that. I'd like to see that more.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to withhold any judgment on it until we see more, because if that's really the route they want to take it, then I need more combat being shown to me to show that's a proven formula. I've seen too many games try to like tack that on at the end as like, well, this will sell it then. Like, the concept of the game wasn't good enough on its own, so we're going to throw on a Souls-like combat experience, and that alone is going to get the Souls-like tag in the game store, and that's going to get all these people to filter and find it. It's a brand new one. They'll try it out, and boom, we got our money.
Yeah, it's like Jedi Survivor did.
Although it did it actually good.
Yeah, in the sequel, they managed to definitely thread the needle there.
First one, it felt like a cash grab of an add-on.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, absolutely. So I really am excited about the creator of the Stanley Parable is doing a new game called Wanderlust, and it is the I'm sorry, Wander Stop,
Yeah, yeah.
not Wanderlust. And
I was gonna say.
it's supposed to be kind of like a Stardew Valley, but it's gonna be, different because it's the Stanley Parable guy.
Yeah, exactly. We know, there's some. They kind of allude to it in the trailer, which again is just like mostly a cinematic trailer, mostly. I think it actually might have some gameplay in there, but it's going to be a little, it's going to be pretty meta, with the people creating it. But so like the big point is that the character you play as is someone who doesn't want to play in a Stardew Valley. Like they are a action game character. Like they want to go and hit things with swords and like murder things, and they're stuck planting. It's like the dream game I had where Dante from Devil May Cry had to, plant vegetables and not kill anyone.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that.
You wanted. Okay, so I had a similar desire for Devil May Cry, and it was more Dante gives up the fighting aspect of all of it and just runs a really bitchin' curiosities shop. And I just wanted a curiosities business sim with Dante. But yeah, this is going to be kind of that. Except for this is going to be a tea shop that they run.
Right.
Which, yes. No, I love this. I love this idea. It's going to get twisted. And there might be a narrator.
Oh, there'll definitely be a narrator, right?
Yeah, there's going to be. There's going to have to be. Or they will start with a narrator and then be like, we're not doing the narrator anymore. And they'll make it very obvious that it's a commentary on their last game.
Or you can go into the settings and turn off the narrator, and the narrator will complain that you turned them off.
And turn themselves back on. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I and for the life of me, I can't remember his name, which is bad. But like both of that and then the beginner's guide were such like meta textual commentaries on, not meta textual, just meta commentaries on those styles of games, like walking simulators, that I'm very interested in seeing what they do outside of that genre.
Beginner's Guide.
No matter what it would be.
I know I've said it here. Like it was one of those games that was so refreshing, so different. I cried at parts of that game, like while I was playing it. It was heartfelt in a way that it shouldn't have been able to pull off. It was so unique. Stanley Parable, no crying moments to it, as much as it was just like being fascinating, wanting to keep going back into that world. I just reinstalled it recently just to experience it again. I can't wait to see what this is going to bring to it. It's that creator. God, I really need to get his name down because he should be.
Just Google it, maybe.
Oh, and then we just do like the thing where we're professionals and we edit. Dun, 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 dun. Davey Redden and William Pugh.
Is it both of them working on this? And did both of them do Beginner's Guide?
Designed and written was Stanley Parable. Designed and written by David Redden and William Pugh. I didn't actually know it was a two-team. I thought it was just Davey Redden.
Well, who did Beginner's Guide then?
Beginner's Guide was Davey Redden.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Davey Redden is the guy we are probably talking about.
Oh, yeah. That's when I saw that name. Yeah.
So one thing we didn't see, or the two things we didn't see, which I'll mention both back to back because I'm like that. We saw nothing of Beyond Good and Evil 2. Not that I'm surprised, because I'm sure. I mean, if it's on the same release schedule as Skull and Bones, we'll probably see that sometime in 2037 or something like that. And we didn't see anything from Hollow Knight 2 Silk Song. Like there was nothing. Which, I mean, I know they have a small team, but I feel like they could have made a Hollow I feel like Hollow Knight was such a expansive masterpiece of a game, and we know how long it took them to make that. So I don't know. I'm worried. Officially worried at this point.
I wouldn't be worried. I think it has more to do with developers being more cautious, smart developers being more cautious about revealing a product before it's actually on its way out. I think we've seen in the last few years enough of that way too early hype exhaustion with like a
Yeah.
Starfield
Or
Cyberpunk that people are just being more cautious about.
But the problem is the cat's already out of the bag at this point.
Sure. But they might not have it at a place where they feel like they could showcase.
Well, they did show stuff. I mean, granted, that was still basically just Hollow Knight with some stuff glued on it. But I feel like after you've kind of already shown people stuff, you kind of gotta at least show that you're still working on it.
They might just decide to do a silent drop. It might just be like a trailer comes out for an announcement date, and the announcement date is the day after the trailer. We see that every once in a while.
Yeah. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited about it too, bud.
And what, you got anything else? I mean, I got a few more things, but what's next on your list?
Let me see. Do I have anything else? Oh, just I don't know. Star Wars Outlaws. I'm starting to get a little concerned after seeing some more of this stuff. Like, it still looks like it's going to be a fun romp, but
Yeah.
and I know this is like the hot take right now that they're playing it safe. It does kind of look like they are, though.
Yeah, I mean, but like to me, Star Wars is always kind of that. Like, I think, like, the gameplay has never been the thing that makes a Star Wars game great. Like, none of them have ever been like all that, like, groundbreaking as part of the gameplay. It's always been like storytelling and exploring. Like, you can think about like maybe the Jedi Knight Academy games were like, oh yeah, this is something else. You know, we got this in-depth lightsaber combat and all that. But like, Coder wasn't breaking the mold. It's just the same D12, D20, D&D like RPG system that has always been around. You know, Battlefront, whatever, the Star Wars big multiplayer shooter games, like, they weren't breaking any molds with that thing. Same thing with like the Clone Commando game, like, or even the RTS. Like, great Star Wars games don't have to be reinventing gameplay. They just have to be good at sticking the Star Wars
being Star Wars
on it.
Yeah,
That's
fair. That's very fair.
So like I mean, like, I at the same, like, I was like, there was something indefinable about why I was slightly disappointed. I don't know what I was expecting. I think what I was expecting is I wanted it to be Beyond Good and Evil 2 with Star Wars also in it, and obviously this is going to be very different. There's going to be a lot of shooting, and and I think all of us are still a little like shell-shocked from the cover shooter years of video gaming where like everything had to be a big cover shooter.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, but I liked Gears of War.
Did you? I assume people didn't.
I don't know. Now, actually, I'm rethinking that final boss fight in the very first one, and it was pretty fucking tedious.
I mean, I liked the trailer for the first one. That was fun.
Yeah, I liked
like
multiplayer deathmatch chainsawing someone up close with my gun. That was fun. Chainsaw guns.
That's fair.
But no, I think the last game that really burnt me out on the whole cover shooter aspect was The Division 2. Which, like, supposed to be an MMO, but because they went so hard on the cover shooter style of combat, you never had to play with anyone ever, anytime. Like, I only played it as a single player game.
Yeah.
And it just got boring. Because, yeah, as long as you stay in cover, there's no challenge then. You're good. So, I do want to see some new things in that category.
Yeah. Yeah. And,
shake it
like,
up.
I think as long as they do the exploration good, then I'll be happy, Like, give me a bunch of places to go and, like, different environments to interact with and weird aliens to talk to. Like, that's all I want out of Star Wars.
Just do Coruscant. No big deal. Just do a fully living, breathing, to-scale Coruscant. Is that too much to ask for?
I don't even know if I'd want that.
Is that too much to ask for?
I want something with some green.
A city planet?
Too. Yeah.
They might have a green space somewhere in Coruscant.
Yeah, probably.
Probably like by law because it's so bureaucratic. Like X amount of hyper towers, whatever you call your skyscrapers there. Hyperscrapers.
Yeah, they do call them something else, don't they?
They do, because everything needs a fun name in that world.
Speaking of depressing space stuff.
Oh.
The DLC for Starfield was announced.
Yeah.
Looks okay. Looks fine. It looks like content that probably should have been in the game to begin with.
Sure does.
I'm sure it's not bad.
Oh.
I don't know. I mean, the one good thing about that announcement was actually that they dropped the creation kit for Starfield the day they announced the release date of the new expansion. So
Yeah. That's what'll get me back into the game, when like the modding community actually can fix it.
All 12 of the people modding Starfield will get right on that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know. Like I it's fine. The problem is like Starfield's so hard for me to talk about because it's like the only my take on it is like it's okay.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to like talk about something that's just like just fine. You know. Hey, no one have any comment on a 50-degree day, you know? That's the Wire quote of the week. What else? Release date for the new WoW expansion was announced for the end of August.
Yeah.
Like that, I mean, I feel like that's pretty fast. I feel like usually they give a lot more warning to the release date. So that's cool. Looking forward to finally moving the plot along after the dragon riding side story beach episode.
It really does seem like it went to a hot springs app for a little bit there. Yeah, maybe you can catch me up on the entire story of WoW once this one comes up. Maybe that'll be its own little special we'll do, because I've lost the plot at this point and I've just stopped caring. I'm not gonna I swear to God, I'm not getting this one. I'm not doing it. I am done with the series.
I reinstalled my World of Warcraft today, so
I guess I'll give it another try. We can play. No, I'm not doing it. I'm just not doing it.
No, don't do it. Don't give Microsoft any more money than you already must.
Yeah.
What else? We saw more of Assassin's Creed Shadows. I don't think there was anything there that we hadn't seen before, other than just more of it.
No, it just looks good.
I mean, like I like that you can finally go prone and sneak crawl. Like, why haven't we been able to do that in an Assassin's Creed game over like the last 20 goddamn years of this game? Or not 20, 18, but still, I don't know. I'm psyched for it. I mean, granted, I basically produced this game by breathing into existence a year ago, so I'm obligated to play this game. But I've got a few more things, unless you.
I mean, I've got one more thing off my list that I'm excited about. I know you're not going to be at all, and that is Black Myth Wukong, the Journey to the West, from like not from Software, but Souls-like game. I'm very excited about it. It looks beautiful. The combat looks really slick so far. I love that story in all its forms.
Do you get to be a monkey man or just a man?
No. Oh no, here.
No, I know. I've seen it. I was just trying to make you talk.
You are Monkey Man. And not only are you Monkey Man, I've seen a lot of different clips and stills from it that look like you are a Monkey Man who actually will age over time.
But also, he looks bigger in some things. Like, I thought, like, maybe he like goes like full King Kong mode. I don't know.
He might. I don't know. I've been trying to keep myself a little bit in the dark about it so I don't overhype myself for the game. But it's just such a fun story. Journey to the West it's cool. It's probably one of the best like fantasy tales that's been told. And I really enjoy almost every iteration of it except for Dragon Ball Evolution, that travesty of a Dragon Ball American movie. So
Damon Albarn produced was it musical he made?
It actually would have been way better as a musical. I could have gotten down with that. Dragon Balls, where are my Dragon Balls?
The end.
The end.
No. I mean, very few things can be not improved by being musicals.
Yeah.
What else? Dragon Age could be a musical. I'd play that. The Dragon Age musical. We saw more of Dragon Age Veilguard.
Yeah.
I don't know who is doing the the advertising work up on this game. Like, that first trailer pissed so many people off because it was just it looks like they like, I don't know, like to speak on what they did. They basically made like a hero shooter trailer intro for this sweeping RPG fantasy game,
Mm-hmm.
which just kind of pissed off everyone. All the people who don't like Dragon Age were like, "See, they're just making crap. I told you." All the people who do like Dragon Age were like, "Oh no, they're making crap." And then they had to like go back and like announce that they were like, "Oh no, we have another trailer," and then they did that one, and they're like, "Oh wait, we actually have another one tomorrow. Just we're actually going to show you some gameplay." I honest to God think that none of that was planned. I think that they were not expecting the reaction they got to the cinematic trailer.
Oh yeah, they legitimately thought that that was a great trailer.
Yeah,
Like, it's okay if that's what you like. It's so weird that trailers can have that kind of power. Like, the way you decide to edit all of that together can give such a feel to it. Because, yeah, with subsequent trailers, I can tell, like, that isn't what the game is going to play like from that first view. But, man, that was trash fire.
yeah. I mean, I remember when do you remember the cinematic trailers for Dragon Age Origins when they first announced that? I actually was very nonplussed by it because I thought it was like, oh look, it's Icewind Dale 5 or something. Like they're just like, there's a dragon. Okay, obviously it's a much. I love Dragon Age, so they have done a lot more with it than that. The combat system got some heat from people. I think it looks, I don't know, streamlined. I'm looking forward to not having to pretend like I care about options that aren't mashing for 3 or 4 buttons, so I can get to the part where, I get to kiss a like orc or whatever. Not an orc. They're not called orcs. They're essentially orcs. But you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
And also like there's Dragon Age is going to Dragon Age. Yeah, Dragon Age is going to have to deal with the fact that it is not Baldur's Gate, and it is going to be compared to Baldur's Gate at every step of its existence.
Yeah, there's a boardroom in control of that's going, so you're making us our Baldur's Gate, right? For our studio. And it's like, well, no, that's not what we're doing.
I mean, to be fair, they've been developing it a lot longer, and probably longer than Baldur's Gate was been in development.
Oh, sure.
VEILGUARD.
No,
I mean, they even the VEILGUARD was not. Also, it's the VEILGUARD, not VEILGUARD, which is fucking stupid.
yeah.
I'm not going to say Dragon Age the VEILGUARD. I am never saying that. No one is going to say that.
Dragon Age : the VEILGUARD? No. Yeah.
Yeah.
Get the out of there. What fucking era do we live in?
Yeah. I have to assume it's like some copyright thing. Like, well, we can't really copyright VEILGUARD because it's actually the name of like a air conditioning like hood ornament thing that existed since the 50s. So if we call it the VEILGUARD, we can actually copyright it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Other big RPG that we saw more of was Avowed, which looks even more like the Elder Scrolls game that I want it to be. Then there's some factions you can join. The one thing that was weird about like last year's trailer for it was that a lot of the movement and combat looked kind of slow and sticky. Like it looked more Morrowind than Skyrim, I guess, if I were to,
Yeah.
And this trailer really showed like it looked a lot more fluid. The animations looked faster. I don't know. I have very few doubts. Like a lot of what doubts I had about Avowed have been allayed by this most recent.
You don't want it to be Morrowind? You don't want to go back to a world where like you saw the sword pass through the thing, but like how good are you with swords? Because it's probably gonna miss like 90% of the time because you're only a 10 out of 100.
I love Morrowind, but like the combat system and like the speed and like the movement speed of that game is like. I know it's part of the vibe, but it's also like...
Oh, you're not playing it right if you're dealing with movement speed issues. You start as a Khajiit. You start jumping off the highest rock you can into the water, just doing that over and over again until that thing's maxed out. And then you can literally like jump in a building, hit the ceiling, and just like fly through it because you're still going up the whole time. God, I loved the broken acrobatics system of that game. When acrobatics got dumped from the series, I was like, this is it. This is over for me.
Yeah.
Bring it back.
What else? I've got Age of Mythology.
Yeah.
Is going to come out in September. It's not a remaster, it's a full remake of Age of Mythology. They're adding a bunch of more factions, and they're adding some quality of life improvements, and I look forward to being disappointed with that again. I don't know. I really liked I mean, we played it for the podcast, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
Both who were like, wow, I can't believe we played this. But, I mean, I played that a ton when I was a kid, and I hope this is one of those remakes that makes it feel like I remember it feeling like, as opposed to how it actually feels.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. I don't know.
And one more game before I get to my finale. A new city builder game with a bit of maybe some Civ aspects in this new thing called Solar Punk. Maybe you've heard of this. The optimistic counterpoint to Cyberpunk. Generation Exile. Kind of like a city builder. Got a bit of Frostpunk in there. Got a bit of Civ in there. The trailer made me feel pretty psyched about it. Fun name too.
Yeah.
Kind of sounds like a late 90s X-Men spinoff.
I tried to look it up because I actually haven't seen this one. It escaped me when I was looking through, and it just keeps coming back to a 7-member Japanese dance and vocal group. So I know it's not that, but I might check that out too. I might check that out too.
Let me make sure I didn't get the name wrong, because that is not impossible.
No, you got it right. I just had to add game to the end. Look, Google's been having a hard time lately. They are not doing great as a search engine anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing about it is it looks like you get some like first-person views of stuff, so you can kind of like walk around the civilization that you're building, go into like some buildings and like see, like get feedback like that way, which is something that I really enjoy. Like in Anno 1800, there's like a cheat mode you can do to get into first-person mode and walk around, but there's no like actual useful feedback you get from people. They just say random words. Mm-hmm. But I don't know. It looks really interesting. My only problem is, this is a bias I have, but generally speaking, if I see like really nice polished graphics and like really clean UI with a strategy game, I get this gut reaction like, oh, it's going to be too easy. Like they're going to make it too simple for like the plebs who don't play these games. Yeah, and like that's a stupid reaction to have, but that was something I was like, oh, I hope this isn't just a dumb girl game for girls who don't play hard game like I do.
How's Disney Dreamlight Valley been treating you lately? just asking. No reason.
Disney Dreamlight Valley is a death march. It's an endurance game, you know?
No, this actually does look this looks very pretty and very interesting. Wow. Yeah, I'm going to have to add this one to my list to keep an eye on. Oh, okay. The distribution team worked on Baldur's Gate 3 and the last Far Cry games. Okay. I just saw those highlighted and I was like, what? Why are people from those games working on this? I mean, I guess do what you want as your passion project, but it doesn't seem like this is your cup of tea.
Distributed team comprise.
It's the distribution team.
Worked on those
yeah.
games. No, it's not distribution team. It's the distributed team comprising veterans.
Right? Oh, am I just reading that completely wrong?
A bunch of different,
I sure am.
Yeah, they're saying like it's a bunch of people from a bunch of different places. But it is made by some of the people who made Firewatch, and so basically this is just whatever the Firewatch Gone Home Tacoma studio was. This is where all those people ended up.
Yep. Firewatch. That sounds familiar. I feel like that has been on my mind lately for some reason.
I wonder why.
Wonder why.
Okay, so that's all the games I have to talk about, but there was one thing we saw during these past few weeks that has filled me with, I don't know, like tension.
Is it Tenchi
the
Muyo?
Borderlands movie?
Oh.
No. The Borderlands movie trailer.
Oh God, I haven't watched the trailer.
Movie. Oh my God, it is.
I don't like
everything.
Cringe, so.
Like at this point, like it's either gonna be so absolutely like it's either gonna be amazingly cringe and just go so far beyond the bend that like it has to be good, or it's gonna be terrible. Like this movie is now either a 5-star or a 1-star rating. There is no going anywhere in between that.
Well, why don't you humor me? We can edit this out so that I can be caught up on this. It's 3 minutes. I've got it right here. I will say it starts with the official trailer without just like saying, hey, this is the Borderlands 2024 official trailer. It then feels like it has to tell you we've got Kevin Hart, Jack Black, and Cate Blanchett in this, which...
Wait, make sure you're watching the most recent
warning
one,
sign.
The one from 9 days ago.
The one from 9 days ago. Oh, no, this is from a few months ago there. 9 days ago.
No.
1 week ago. Here we go.
Let me-
Exclusive look. I've got it.
So within our first 10 seconds, we've got Claptrap literally shitting metal. Just right there. Just that's the joke, is that he's a robot.
Oh. Oh, my.
I mean, the one thing you can say is that Cate Blanchett looks like she is having a great time.
Does she? Because she looked like she was confused there for a minute about, like, the choices she made in life as the guys clumsily walked over. Like, the choreography looks so fucking weird right now. Everyone's movement is like this weird, jaunty shoulder wag jog.
They're trying to like emulate the like enemies in the.
Oh God. Oh God. I don't know. And I was like, oh, I wonder who Jack Black's going to be playing. And oh, it's Claptrap. And again, this just gets me to a point of like, and it's not that Jack Black doesn't have a voice for animation. Like, I think he's proven he does, and he brings a certain quality to it, but it is a quality like a Jeff Goldblum or a Willem Dafoe or
In that
Christopher
he's always Jack
Walken.
Black.
It's just, yeah, he is Jack Black. And Claptrap already has two pretty damn good voice actors that have done
Very annoying voice actors, but
that's the whole appeal to Claptrap.
yeah. I mean, what if Gilbert Gottfried and the guy who voiced SpongeBob were melded together into a robot?
Yes.
Um,
But I don't know. Gosh, this will be fun for kids, I guess.
I don't think so though. Like, I think they're gonna make it too naughty for kids. I think there's gonna be like decapitation.
You think it's gonna be not? That's
stuff.
not naughty. I was allowed to watch decapitations when I was a kid. They just couldn't be nudity.
Yeah, but this isn't the RoboCop generation anymore. You know, we're on the Bluey generation.
That's true. I don't know. I'm just whatever. I don't want to talk about Borderlands the movie anymore. I'm depressed now.
You know, gotta end it on a high note.
Which is wild because it's just a splash of colors and action and energy, and I feel so deflated.
Not even that
after
much
seeing
color.
it. Well, no, I mean specifically the title splash at the end.
Yeah. It's like somehow they managed to like find like the only cardboard box warehouse on Pandora to have this scene in. Like,
That's true. Oh God. And I didn't hear anyone scream about how they're going to rip your flesh off and cook it. Like, no one's saying wild shit the whole time, which is why.
I mean, maybe that's what they're gonna do. Maybe they're like, "Oh, this is gonna suck, so let's edit it down to a PG rating so we can say it's for kids."
Maybe.
Like, just to kind of, because they have so much lower standards. I mean, that's happened before.
Yeah, I'm getting Monster Hunter vibes all over again.
Oh, not even. I mean, this looks. I don't know. I think that. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Forgot about that movie.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. So you've been playing anything good while you've been sick?
No, I've only been playing schlock.
Oh, okay.
No, I mean, I've been playing some things for us, or a thing for us. Well, two things, but I wasn't there for the Ghostmaster recording. So glad I put in that time.
Any important data you need to add to the Ghostmaster discussion?
Nope, I think you covered it just fine. Nope, I was fine to move on to the next game there. No, and then honestly, like Shadow of the Erdtree is coming out here, so I reinstalled on my PC to get ready for that, and then I've got some buddies on the PlayStation 5, and there was a sale for the main game, so I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and pick that up, and I started a fresh character on the PlayStation version of it to prepare for the DLC for that one too. I'm just so excited for that. If I can kind of go off for a moment, like they're adding all these new weapon types in. There's these martial arts, which you know me, anytime you give me in a game that's like meant to be weapon based combat, the option to go hand to hand, I'm taking it even if it's not optimal. So
Yeah, I have on more than one occasion as a DM, I have plotted ways to remove Mike's character's arms, just so I don't have to deal with it.
I just love it so much. It's so fun. Yeah, I just can't wait for it. It looks like it's going to be a huge game. I love the idea that your actual level isn't going to matter so much. So essentially, it's going to be like around level 110 is when you could, at its earliest, get into the game, because that's roughly the level they recommend killing the boss that lets you actually access the new content.
Okay.
When that's achievable. So they were like, well, 110's like, it's going to be really difficult, but you can do it. 120's more like the recommended entry point, somewhere around 120 to 125. 150 if you want a little bit of an easier adventure. But once you're in this world, there's another leveling system that's going to be a lot like the Estus Flask upgrade, where instead of spending these seeds to upgrade your Estus flasks.
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. Every time someone says Estus, it's been years of Dark Souls. Maybe this is part of my problem with Dark Souls. I keep thinking people are saying estrus, and the idea of an estrus flask is a very weird concept to me.
I mean, it might as well be.
Sorry,
Everything here is pretty disjointed from reality. So. But no, so essentially to upgrade your flasks, for those who don't know, you have to spend a currency, and it starts at like, oh, well, one currency and you get an upgrade, and it gives you more uses, or it'll give you more healing, like the healing effect will be greater. That's kind of how leveling is going to work for Shadow of the Erdtree, where you're going to spend a currency to gain like this new power. It's like in Dragon Ball, where Goku thought he had achieved the height of everything by going Super Saiyan, then Super Saiyan 2, Super Saiyan 3, we got Super Saiyan 4, we've got Golden Kaiju Monkey. I don't remember all of the technical terms. But then he finds out, well, no, there's actually a whole god tier of power that is so different, on such a different wavelength, that it essentially neutralizes your key power. So if you can tap into this god power, then you're just on a whole new playing field, even if you're starting from square one, the moment you can access that. So this is going to kind of play much like late stage Dragon Ball storyline.
I think you walked yourself into maybe a bad argument for Erdtree there.
Nope. I am all the more excited to fight Erdtree's final Beerus staged boss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like at this point, the only way like FromSoft is going to top themselves with like boss fights is just to like give you one of those stupid fights you see in like, I forgot what game it was. It's one of those Final Fantasy side bosses where you just fight like a frog, but the frog is like invincible.
Oh, like a King Cactar or something?
Yeah.
Sure.
Something like that.
Sure.
That'd be fun. If it's just literally a tree.
That would be.
They have to fight a tree.
I mean, we might literally fight a tree. We don't know.
I hope it's an actual tree and not just like the embodiment of a tree and a ghostly woman with like a sword or something.
Well, yeah, but can it be both of those things? Like, and also they reside within the moon. Can we talk about the moon presence as far as like, you played Bloodborne, right?
No.
Okay.
But I've seen people play Bloodborne.
Well, then never mind. I was just going to go on a little bit of a tangent on like, I think what From Software needs to do is just abandon the new route they're taking as far as this open world formula goes, because while it's fun, the best parts of the game are when you're in an enclosed area going through a dungeon crawl, which is just Dark Souls. And really, Bloodborne did it best, and we just need Bloodborne 2. Like, they just need to go ahead and do that. Like, I'm excited for this expansion. I'll play the shit out of it, but just announce Bloodborne 2.
That's. I mean, I don't know. I'm not I am a novice as far as Souls likes, but Bloodborne just kind of looks like Dark Souls, but with vampires and guns.
Mm-hmm.
Am I wrong about this?
It's got a
Okay.
different combat system to a degree. It's a lot more fast paced, and it has this mechanic called rally, where as you take health damage, the bar just changes color instead of being fully depleted for the damage you took, and then as you attack during that time, you can gain it
Oh,
back. So like the colored bar then slowly starts to decrease to match where you actually took the
like in
damage.
a fighting game.
Like in a fighting game. Yeah,
Sometimes.
exactly. So it encourages getting a lot more up in the face of things. There is no shields, or there are no shields in Bloodborne. You have a gun, and the gun, instead of just being used to shoot things, although there's a build that is like full gun combat, it's not that fun. But the gun is mainly for parrying, like doing these parrying blocks. So as the enemy's getting ready to attack, you shoot them and it stuns them. Then you can pull off these big combos. So, and you have a very small window in where the gun's actually going to stun them versus, just doing a little bit of damage and they wreck your shit. Yeah. So, high risk, high reward game, very
Bloodborne
frenetic
2,
action.
looking
Bloodborne
forward to
2, which has not been announced, was not part of these games trailer releases, but here's hoping next year.
I haven't been playing much because I spent much of this week just fixing my computer.
Fair.
But I played a bit of. I came back to Rogue Trader. I haven't played it in a week or so, and I got to the end of Act 2, and I stopped playing Rogue Trader because I mean, I don't know. I don't mean to sound like I've played a lot of RPGs. I've played RPGs on hard mode. Like I am not a novice when it comes to CRPGs, but the difficulty spike at the end of Act 2 is insane. Like I think part of the problem is like I found the entire leveling structure in Act 2 to like half the characters I was like, oh man, I'm gonna make a badass character, and half the character I was like, this is inscrutable. This is like 2 paragraphs for a ability. I don't really want to read this to figure out what it does.
Yeah.
So I think I'm just gonna have to like go back and just start over because half my characters suck. But that's fine because there's DLC coming out later this year, so I'll probably just wait until that comes out,
nice.
and then I'll go back and play it from the scratch. So, but that's probably for the best. My build was pretty terrible.
Yeah.
But I was just kind of getting by on the fact that I had like 2 or 3 characters who were very good. But I have this itch to go back and replay Inquisition, Dragon Age Inquisition.
Oh.
Since I saw the trailer for Veilguard. One of the DLC I never played. I can't remember which one it was. So I'm kind of wondering if I'm going to go back and put some hours into that.
What year did that come out? 2014.
2014?
Yeah.
So it's been a decade?
Yeah, it's been 10
Holy
years.
hell.
I'm if
Oh
you
my
do that,
God.
I want to hear everything about what you think, because that's some age on a game. I'm curious.
Yeah.
Huh.
I didn't realize it's 10 years old almost. Jiminy
Yeah,
Christmas.
we're ancient.
Yeah.
Well,
Happy 6th birthday, Among Us.
happy 6th birthday Among Us. Yeah.
Although that didn't really get big until 2020, right? That was like a pandemic.
Oh, no, yeah. It'd been out for a while,
Yeah,
and then the
okay.
pandemic lockdowns happened. Everyone lost their mind. Yeah.
Okay, so that's why it feels more recent than 6 years.
Yeah. Well, there's the time crunch effect of the whole lockdown in general,
Yeah,
anyways.
That's true.
Like, anytime I'm thinking now of something that happened, I just add like 2 years, 3 years to it.
Yeah, no, that's about where I'm at with it, too.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's all she wrote. We kind of hustled through this one. I was worried that we were not going to have enough time to get to everything, but we actually did. We actually made good time.
Yeah.
This won't be too bloated of an ep. If you like this episode, leave us a like or a rating or a review.
Yes.
Tell your friends. Subscribe. Ring the bell. Set Spotify to download it automatically. I don't freaking know what optimized call to action I'm supposed to have here. If you want to get in contact with us, we have a Bluesky. You can send us stuff there.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can email us at thesavestatepodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
Also, we have a Patreon now.
We do.
We would like, feel free to, I'd like to have some more eyes on it. I don't say you have to, leave money, but, we wouldn't mind some more participation in the poll there we got up. It'd be nice to have some feedback.
Gets us a little better idea on what people want to listen to, what types of games. It looks like right now indie is kind of edging out everything else, these more obscure titles, which, good. I like that.
Yeah. Also, now that Mike is back in the land of the living, we're going to have a bonus ep up sometime soon. I said in the next month, 2 weeks ago, but
I know. And then
next month.
and then disease and life happened. I'm trying to get my footing with this new workflow as well, but I'd really like to have that recorded by this time next week. If we can find that, I think that's doable.
We'll see.
I think it's doable.
We'll see what we can make. We'll let you know.
Yeah.
Or rather, we'll let our Patreons know.
Yes.
And you just have to find out.
You will.
But yeah, I've been Art.
I've been Mike.
And goodbye.
Bye.
And now presenting the Save State free advertising edition. We just tell you things you can buy. But that's kind of what this entire podcast is.
And
it's just
don't get any kickbacks from them.
Yeah, it's just, is criticism advertising? My theory presupposes no, but also yes.
But also maybe.
Okay, we'll just do knock knock as the intro, and I'll save that for the stinger.
Okay.